Early Earth had the gases methane, water vapor, hydrogen, ammonia, and carbon dioxide, but had very little oxygen and no atmosphere. The atmosphere was first formed when the first cells, the protocell, developed photosynthesis and released oxygen. Oparin's hypothesis was that organic compounds could have experienced a series of reactions leading to more complex molecules. In early Earth, chemical gases were struck by lightning. This created the first organic molecules. The four requirements of life were a way to synthesize proteins, formation of a
Spontaneous
membrane,
generation
a
is the
coding
concept
system
in
for
which life
replicating
originates
proteins,
from
and
non-life.
organic molecules.
Like other scientists during the 17th century, Francisco Redi did not believe in this, and so he created an experiment in order to test it. In his experiment, Redi placed meat in a sealed and in an unsealed container. After noticing that flies would only be attracted to the unsealed container, he was able to prove that life does not generate randomly.
Out of this experiment came the idea of biogenesis, where life only comes from other life.
Prokaryotic cells are cells with no membrane, bound organelles, and they compose the oldest forms of life on Earth. Eukaryotic cells are cells with membrane, bound organelles, and a nucleus.
Lynn Margulis developed the endosymbiotic theory, which hypothesizes the origin of mitochondria and chloroplasts. According to her, mitochondria and chloroplasts each have their own DNA, and so when they joined the cell, the membrane surrounded them individually, creating separate pockets.
Pasteur was a French biologist during the 19th century. He disproved spontaneous generation by designing an experiment in which he filled a long-necked flask with mink broth. He then heated the glass neck and bent it into an S shape. Air could not reach the broth, but gravity acted to trap airborne microorganisms inside the curve of the neck. He then boiled the broth in order to kill the other microorganisms that were there previously. After some time, because no microorganisms had formed in the broth, he concluded that life did not generate spontaneously.
Comparative embryology supports the theory of evolution because scientists have found that the embryos of many different species show similarities, which implies they share a common ancestor. Homologous structure is a body structure that has a similar evolutionary origin and similar structure, but it has a different function, just like a tiger's arm and a whale's fin. Analogous structure, on the other hand, has a different bone structure, but it has the same purpose. An example of this would be a bird's wing and a butterfly's wing. Human fossils serve to highlight the differences and similarities between current and extinct species. Scientists use these fossils to calculate their age, and also they categorize them to determine when the organisms lived relative to each other.
Created using Powtoon.